Hi there, this is Alison from Freddie Loves Crochet, and today I'm bringing you a tutorial for how to make this really lovely knit look crocheted hat. So it's really simple, made in one piece. We do the ribbing at the same time as doing the bulk of the hat, not before or after it, which often is the case with some of these hats. It's made up into a rectangle sort of shape, and then we slip stitch it together. I'm going to show you the adult size today. If you have a look at the links in the description, you will see my website in there with a blog, and the free patterns for child and baby sizes are also available for you there. Plus, if you prefer a written pattern, it will be there for you. So you're going to need some Aran worsted weight number 4 yarn. One sort of 100-gram ball is more than enough to do one of these. You'll have some change left over from that, and a 6mm hook to get going. So grab your hook, grab your yarn, and we're going to get crocheting. We're going to start today by putting a slip knot on our hook, and then we're going for this adult size. We're going to chain 41. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, nearly there, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And then one more is our turning chain, because we want 40 stitches. So I have 41 here. Now we're going to start at the top of the hat. So this is actually, if you look at it, we're going in rows up and down that way, even though if you were knitting this, you would be going that way and kind of adding on rows like that. We are going sideways up and down, so we'll go up and down here. And at this end we make our stitches a little bit smaller, because this is the end that's got to gather, so we want as little as possible in terms of how much wool or yarn is in this area, so that when we're stitching it together and gathering it up, it'll pull together a little bit more easily. So we're going to start off then working, I'm going to just zoom in for you here, from the second chain from the hook. So we're going to ignore that first one, and we're going to go in and we're going to work 3 single crochets US term, which is the double crochet in the UK. It's where you don't put the yarn over first, so you put your hook in, you yarn over and pull through till you've got 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So I've done 2, and we want to have 3 here. Hook in, yarn over, pull through till you've got 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to make sure we've always got these 3 at this top end. So when we've sort of worked all the way down and along and then back up this way, we'll always make sure that there's 3 single crochet or double crochet in the UK stitches at the top on this end here. Now, most of this hat is worked in, so this part is worked in a half double crochet or a half treble crochet in the UK, and so it's where we put our hook when we are working back along it that's going to make the difference for this. So you're now going to place 22 half doubles or half trebles into each chain, so 22. So you've yarned over first, gone in, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 3. I'm going to stick to using primarily US terms from now on, okay? So hopefully you've got that in your head. Yarn over, in to the next chain, yarn over, pull through, so you've got your 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. That's 2 that I've done. We're going to go in again, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So I've done that 3 times now. I'm going to carry on and do the rest of mine till I get to 22. So I'm nearly there. 21 and 22. So this is the smaller bit with the 3 stitches at the top there, moving down here to the main bulk of the hat, which is this bit here that we've just done, and now we're up to the ribbing section. So from here we're going back to a single crochet. So we're going to put the hook in without yarning over, and we're going to do 15 of these. Yarn over, pull through, so you've got your 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 1. We're going to go all the way to the end, and hopefully if we've got our change right, it's 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ah, brilliant. Mine were right, even though I'm filming myself. 15. Okay, so we've got the full, I'll zoom back out again. We've got like that full length of our hat here. So from the top down to the bottom, and then our ribbing starts here. Now, as you get on with this, you'll notice as you go that where the half stitches are in the middle, they are a little bit wider, so it's going to start to sort of become wider and bulge more than at either end, where we've got our little 3 at that end and where we've got our 15 here. At the moment, it's harder to see, it's harder to tell that, especially if you're more of a beginner as well. You'll struggle to see the difference between some of your stitches. So to avoid counting so much, feel free to put a stitch marker in the first one of the 15 of the single crochets that we did, which for me was that one, I think. But yeah, that one. And then you can also, if you wanted to, put it in the last one of the single crochets at the top there, and that may just help you to not have to count so much. When you're a bit more experienced, sometimes you can actually start to see where those stitches change. But for now, I'm just going to count. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to do our ribbing. So we're at the bottom edge of the hat here. So this is the ribbing. And we're going to stick, let me zoom in again. We're going to stick with the 15 single crochets here. But instead of putting our hook here, to create that ribbing, we're going to go for a back loop only. Okay, so you'll notice here is a front loop. And if I was to go under both loops, I'm going to put my hook there. But I would like the back loop only, which is there. And I'm going to do my 15 singles in the back loop only all the way up. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Oh, and 15, one more. There we go. So especially if you're a bit slower as a crocheter and you find it hard to count along, do make sure you use stitch markers at this point, and it saves you just to differentiate when we change stitch. So now we're going back to our half double crochet, and again, just like we've done with the ribbing, when we're going up, so we're going from the bottom here up along to the top, so when we're on an up row, we're going to work our half double like we did with the single into the back loop. So you've got a bottom front loop here, you've got a front loop, and your back loop is right at the back there. So it can get confusing with the half because you've got this extra loop at the front here. So we're going to ignore that one. We're going to ignore that one. Tilt your work towards you, and you're going to go for that back loop there. And we're going to do 22 half double crochets. Just a reminder, that's a half treble in the UK terms. We're going to do 22 of those all the way up to the top, and you can see how it leaves that kind of ridge there, which starts to give us our knit look, and we finalize the knit look on the next row. This ends up being a 2-row repeat, so you will just continue doing an up row, which is basically back loops all the way. So back loops for your ribbing, back loops for your half double. Apart from the only time you're not going to use the back loops on the up row is for the final 3. We're just going to go through both loops for that final 3 that we're doing, which is where we're trying to make the top of the hat sort of cinch in a little bit, just to help us out when we come to gather it and sew it together at the end. If you've never made a hat in this way before, that probably sounds like absolute gobbledygook, but it will, promise, make sense by the end. Okay, so I've done my 22. I'm left with my 3. I find personally I don't need to count so much going up because I can easily see my final 3 stitches, which is 1, 2 and 3. And like I said, we're going to do a single crochet here, but this time for our final 3 we're going to do that in both loops. So 1, 2 and 3. So you may see it's starting, let's zoom out, to get some shape. Can you see here where this is our ribbed bit? You see how it's thinning? It comes wider for the bulk of the hat, and then it thins again for the top. Can you see that? And actually it's quite fun really being able to just do it all in one whole piece as well as we go. So we're going to carry on. So that was our up row, so going from the bottom of our hat all the way up to the top, and we're on a down row next. So row 3 is a down row. So we're going to chain 1 at the end as normal, and then we're going to do our 3 single crochets like we're going to do it at this end all the time. So that's where we put our hook under both loops. So 1, 2 and 3. Now this time it's a little bit different. So we're on our downward row. Instead of working in the back loop or the both loops, we're actually going to go for this bottom front loop. So let's just look at this a bit more closely. You've got a bottom loop, a top loop and a back loop. So bottom front, top front and back. So we're going to go for this bottom front. We're going to do our half double stitch. So it's the one, same stitch again where you're yarning over, pulling through all three. We're going to do it here at the bottom there. Just a reminder, so you've got your bottom, your top and your back. You should hopefully be able to see the three there, bottom, top and back. And we're going to put them all into our back loops. Oh, sorry, our bottom front loops. I shouldn't be saying that, should I? And we're going to do our 22. All the way down. Again, you get into a little bit of groove. Once you've identified it, it's much easier to find the next one. Once you've done the first one, they all sort of stand out a little bit more once you've got going with it. Nearly there. I haven't counted, but I think because I can see my bottom front loop, only the half double crochet has this bottom front loop. You don't get it in the other stitches, so it becomes quite clear. So let me check. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Yeah, so I've got my 15 left here, and just like you did before for the rib stitch, so the bit for our bottom of our hat, we're going to do single crochet again and again in the back loop. So we're going all the way from that bottom front loop. Now we're going to that back loop there. So again, the difference, instead of here, we're going for that back one there. So hook in there, and we're going to do our 15 single crochets down. And this basically is your 2-row repeat. Now, I'm quite sure nobody wants to sit here and watch me complete this hat in real time on here, because that would, I think, possibly be quite boring. So I am not going to continue filming whilst we build this hat up. I'm going to show you here what this looks like now. You can see by our choice of loops, that beautiful knit look there. It's clever, isn't it, how that works? I'll zoom out a little bit. Can you see it there? I think it's just so pretty. Such a lovely stitch, and it's got a really nice bit of stretch to it as well. So it's not too stretchy, but it's just really lovely. I just absolutely love it. So a reminder, at the bottom of the hat with our ribbing, we're going to do single crochets, 15 of them, in the back loops only. When we get to our main middle bit with our half double crochets, we're going to do on the up rows, so where we're going from the bottom of our hat up to the top, we're going to work our stitches in the back loops only, finishing with 3 single crochets in the top, in both loops at the top. So that's our up row. And then our down row, we chain 1, we do our 3 single crochets here again. And then this time, when you're working back down, so going from the top back down to the bottom of your hat, you're going to work your half double crochets into that front bottom loop there. So that one at the bottom. Remembering, so you've got 3 loops on here, so you're going to work it in that front bottom loop, and then when you get to your 15 single crochets, you're in the back loops again for that. So you're going to want to crochet around 49, 51 rows, something like that. You'd need your you need to finish on an odd numbered row, so 49, 51, 53, something like that. Obviously things can, like your tension and your yarn weight, even though you may choose the one that I've said, there's lots of differences within them. So keep an eye on how it's looking, and if you think it's going to be too big, don't feel like you've got to carry on. If you think it's going to be too small, feel free to add a couple more rows. Making sure that you finish on an odd row, and that means that when we slip stitch it back up together, we'll end up with our yarn tail at the top of the hat, which is where we want it to be. So we're going to finish at this point, come back to the video, use the chapter section, return back to the video once you've finished doing this with your sections, or sorry, with your 3 sections here. Go off, and when you've got a full piece of fabric ready to make up into the hat, I will show you how to do that. So return to me when you are ready. So as you can see, I've changed colour because I've got this one almost finished. So this one was ready for demonstrating. You can really see the differences in the 3 stitches that we've got here. So these are the singles, and then we've got our lovely half doubles with the knit look here, and then our single crochet back loop rib stitch there. Hopefully yours looks something similar. So what we're going to do now is bring the 2 sides together. So where you were, as if you were carrying on crocheting up here, you sort of fold it over, get that tail end out of the way, and match up the sides. And you're going to do, oh, I've done it wrong way, should be inside out. So you do it so that, so this is the outside, and you want to bring the out, so this is what will be the inside of the hat. You want to single crochet it, like on the, sorry, slip stitch it together on the wrong side, because then we'll turn it the right way out so that this seam will be on the inside. So I've done a chain 1, which just helps with this. I'll just zoom in again. We're going to do a slip stitch all the way along. So I'm going to put my hook into one side and then into the opposite stitch on the other side, yarn over and pull through everything. So into the net, and obviously on this side I'm actually going in the chain as well. So I'm literally going to slip stitch all the way up to the top. So again, slip stitch, you should put your hook in and put it on both sides there, and then yarn over and pull it through everything that's sitting on your hook. So that within the whole stitch there is only 1 yarn over. There we go, and you'll see that that's seam starting to, so it has a little bit of a ridge, the seam, which is why we want it on the inside. So do it from the outside, then we'll turn it the other way around. So finish slip stitching up to the top, and I will meet you back to show you how to finish it off. So I've got all the way to the top here, slip stitching, and from here now I've trimmed my yarn and I'm going to just fasten off. So yarn over, pull it all the way through like that, and then want to turn it the other way, so we've got the outside. So when we gather it all together, we would like the outside, so the way that you'll wear it to be on the outside there, like that. There we go. Gorgeous. Right, so you're going to now need a darning needle, and hopefully you make sure you leave a decent amount of tail end just so that you can thread it through and gather it up. So starting here, because I'm at the seam here, I'm going to do a gathering sewing stitch. So just where I weave it in and out and in and out through the top like that a few times, and then pull that through, and then I'm going to do that all the way around. So just in between those stitches of those single crochets at the top there, just underneath the top. So I'm not going right to the top, I'm just going just sort of underneath, in and out there. And this is the reason why we did these single crochets, just to make it a little bit narrower at the top, so you know we can get it a little bit tighter when we gather it. Nearly there, going around with this stitch, and almost there. Here we go. Right, so I'm back where I started, and then from here I'm now going to pull and gather it as much as I can. So it's really hard with just one going round once to get this completely closed over. So what I tend to do, once I've pulled it as much as I can, I get my darning needle again and I sort of go around the hole, so on these stitches, and this helps. I do like a second gather sort of thing, but going through like that. And you can see it's already pulling closed a little bit more. There we go. And so that's much better. So now you want to just secure that end, so you want to go back and forth a few times, just at least 3 times is good. And then what I usually do is, just in case it did wiggle free slightly, I will thread it through to the inside. Now I'm just gonna oh no, trim it while it's on the inside. Here, there we go. Here we are. And then you've got another tail end to sew in there, but let's just pretend I've done that, hey? And then you'll fold it up, and there you have your knit look hat. Now if you want to put a pom-pom on, got a nice grey one which goes quite well with the red there. I would advise either cotton and thread is getting a little small button and then sewing it on the inside to here, and then just use a smaller crochet hook, something like this, and once you've got your button on, you'd put your crochet hook through. And if you have one of these ready-made pom-poms as opposed to making your own, they always have like a little loop, little elasticated loop, so you would then pull it through, and then if you have your little button ready sewn on, you just loop that over your button like that. There you go. There you go. Absolutely lovely, isn't it? Absolutely love this type of hat. It's really, really cute. Really quick to do as well. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Please do give me a comment, a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you again soon for some more patterns. Take care now.